pictures taken by my family's trusty box brownie way back in 1971 or 72, you see my mum and sister and myself in short trousers aged about 7. This was some 43 years ago at the famous Bluebell railway in East Sussex UK. Here you see my dad admiring the loco. Note the Cub Scouts covering their ears. The loco's safety valves were blowing off and the noise was incredible.
Here we are at the famous Bluebell Railway in East Sussex, United Kingdom, and we've come to see a particular locomotive. Come this way. I'm still doing it. And here is the locomotive we've come to see. Sadly, she's been out of steam now for some long years, needing a new boiler. It is in fact the Adams Radial tank. Introduced from 1882, these Victorian locos are very elegant. This one was made in 1885 by Nielsen & Co. Some may comment that the side tanks don't look very big, but in the extended bunker was a well tank. You can see the water feed just down there, and that had a further 680 gallons of water for the locomotive to draw on. This is the famous radial truck. It allowed the locomotive to negotiate very sharp curves. And as you see, she has the single slide bar, which was how it was fitted on the early locos. The later ones had the double slide bar. Number 0488 had been sold to the government in 1917, but then been sold to Colonel Stevens between 1919 and 1921 for use on the East Kent Railway. So here we are with the model. Let's have a closer look at her. Now a really lovely sight. 488 with some proper early London South Western coaches, known as a 4.5 set. And here comes my dad's 1938 condition Adams Radial tank with some later London South Western coaches. The locomotives became known as radial tanks, as a radial truck was fitted to support the weight of the enlarged bunker, which carried a well tank holding 680 gallons of water between the frames, as well as 3 tons of coal. The locomotives became synonymous with the Lyme Regis branch. 3 were allocated to Exmouth Junction Shed for this service. 1946 saw the Southern Railway desperately in need of a 3rd radial tank for its Lyme Regis branch. 0488 was found derelict but intact on the East Kent Railway. So 40 years on, it returned to Eastleigh Works and received its updated number 3488, becoming 305823. By 1961 the end was at hand on the Lyme Regis branch, but the Bluebell Railway stepped in and purchased 305823, returning her to 488 soon after. Let's compare the locos. You will note that 488 has the as-built stovepipe chimney, while Dad's loco has the later fitted tapered chimney. The sharp-eyed among you may notice on my father's model that the radial truck wheels are larger than the front bogie, whereas on the Hornby model they are the same size. Well, Dad got it right, because the radial truck wheels were 3'6" diameter on the locos built from 1885 onwards, whereas the bogie wheels were 2'6". Now for a running session, and keep an eye out for 488 with the World War I ambulance train as a nod to its World War I service.
Now, whilst you're enjoying watching the locomotives running, here is an extremely rare recording that I've rescued from an old cassette tape of mine, recorded back in 1978 on a simple portable cassette recorder. It is in fact 488 in service near Halstead Canes. Once again, maybe? Now, during our visit to the Bluebell Railway, I was delighted to discover that they had a selection of models, and I couldn't help but purchase a couple of special Bluebell Railway coaches in a lovely blue livery. So here they are behind my Adams Radial, just to finish off this video. Certainly hope you've enjoyed it and learnt something about these rather splendid locomotives. Stay tuned.